Alright guys, Ask a Felon back with another one for you. I'm running a little late today, so I don't know if this will be a long one or a short one, but let's get into it. First question is, walk us through the exact day you got arrested from the moment you woke up until you were arrested. Well, I'm going to have to say, actually it says walk us through the exact day you got arrested from the moment you woke up until you were booked. So I imagine that day was one of the normal days how I start off. I would wake up. First thing I would do is check my meds to see how many medicines I had and how much I could shoot up that day. Then I probably went in the bathroom, shot it up after breaking it down and doing all that. Then I shot it up and then I was on a mission to go find more, which at the time I believe I was staying with my sister's or my girlfriend's sister at the time. And we was heading from her house over to my girlfriend's house where she was staying, which my girlfriend was staying with some old pervert, which I knew what was going on, but when you're out there on dope, you don't really give a fuck. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You just go where the dope is. She was staying with some old pervert who talked with a hair whip and I got some medicine for you. You know, one of them weird guys, that old man that just kept drugs so young girls would come around him. But we was heading over there, and on the way there, I was talking to somebody who had ripped me off, stole my clothes and shit the night before or a couple days before. And I was asking him because he agreed to pay me my shit back so I didn't beat his ass. He agreed to pay me and buy me new clothes that day. I was on the phone with him walking down the tracks. Told him, yeah, I'll be expecting to see you when you get off work. But at the same time I was talking to him, I just happened to pass these railroad tracks. And sure enough, I seen my brother and his girlfriend, which there's some snitches. They've always been one of them sneaky, grimy people. Instead of just being blunt and saying, "Yeah, I'm grimy. I'm gonna turn you in," or they walk around talking about how they're upstanding and they got morals and they wouldn't do this and they wouldn't do that. I'm a straight up dude. I'm real. But they're the fakest people you ever fucking met. Grimiest people. I guarantee you that they're probably the grimiest people anybody out here has ever met. They act like they're friends to your face just to get information so they can use it against you. That type of people. But anyway, I passed them on the railroad tracks, and where I was passing the railroad tracks, they could see me. There's no doubt about it, 100%, because the way it's set up is there's a wooded area, a wooded area, and a wooded area. In between that area is the a stoplight for a bunch of traffic on a busy road. Well, I know that they seen me, but they put their head down and act like they was digging in their glove box, which is a dead giveaway right away. I even told my sister, my girlfriend's sister, I was like, yeah, psh, there's fucking them two motherfuckers. I know they're gonna wind up. Now I gotta worry about making it down the rest of these tracks. And sure enough, I'm walking down the rest of the tracks, and I get down toward the end, and here comes plainclothes officers with vests on, fugitive task force, and regular city cops. They popped out of the woods on me on the railroad tracks, but I'd already got off the railroad tracks. I was already off the tracks walking. And they was like, come here. So I'm like, well, for what? What stopped me for? Because in the state of Indiana, it's illegal to walk on a railroad track. I said, but I wasn't on the tracks when you see me, so fuck you. He's like, all right, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. You got an ID? I said, nope, I ain't got an ID either. Why you need my ID? I didn't commit no crime. He's like, in the state of Indiana, it's also illegal not to carry an ID. I said, but you ain't got a reason to stop me for it. You have no justified reason for stopping me. He was like, all right, you want to play this game? You're detained right now for an investigation because we had a phone call that there's a wanted felon walking down the tracks. I said, oh, so now the truth comes out. I see. Which right then, automatically, I knew who it was. It was my brother and his little grimy midget ass girlfriend. But anyway, they sat there and I memorized my brother-in-law's name. Now I memorized his name, his date of birth, his social security number, and I had it all memorized in case I ever did get stopped. But since somebody already told them who I was, it didn't work very well. But I'm telling them, they pull my name up, put it in the name, they pull it up on the screen and shit, and they're like, "You still gonna stick to this story? That's not you in that picture." I'm like, "Nah, that ain't me in the picture, but that's my info. Y'all shit's fucked up." They're like, "Boy, you're really gonna ride this out, ain't you?" So I ain't riding nothing out. I gave you the right information. I don't know why it's popping up with some other shit. They're like, all right, all right, all right, we'll play this game for a while. He's like, but I got somebody coming with a fingerprint scanner right now. I'm like, oh, well, whatever. And in the meantime, they're over talking to my girlfriend's sister. They're telling her, who is he? Blah, blah, blah. I thought she was lying to him, telling him she didn't know, and she thought my name was this and that. But later on in prison, when I filed for the probable cause affidavit, I found out she ended up telling him who I was. That, yeah, it's him. That's his name. Yeah, he's wanted. But it's not that she didn't get me in trouble. You know what I mean? She buckled under pressure. But my brother and his girlfriend are the ones who called and snitched me out, let him know that I was wanted on 2 Class B felonies. But anyway, they come with the fingerprint scanner, they run it. In the meantime, I got 20 Klonopins in one pocket. I got like 40 fucking, or it might have been 40 total. I had like 20 and 20, Valium and Xanax and Klonopin. But I got them in my pocket. I'm smoking as many cigarettes as I can, as fast as I can, trying to, because I know it's done. I know it's a wrap. I'm done. I'm hit. But I had that little when they brought the fingerprint scanner. Told them I ain't right. I ain't. What the fuck? You guys ain't got no reason to be stopping me. Period. And they're like, yeah, you fit the description of somebody who got the Class B felony out. You fit that description. We think you're him. So we're investigating. So we do have a reason. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I know it's over. So I give them my fingerprint. They come back and they're like, yeah, blah, 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 it's you. I don't even really know if it was a fucking fingerprint scanner or not. You know what I mean? But anyway, I take off running. I don't get very far because by now there's like 7 cop cars around me. And remember, the whole time this is going on, I'm looking over at this mall parking lot across the street from where I was at. I see my brother and his girlfriend sitting in a truck watching me. So that right there is why I know 100% that they're the ones who turned my ass in. They didn't see me crossing the tracks. They was digging in a glove box. Both of them was looking in a glove box conveniently, but somehow they just happened to be down at the end of the road where the cops popped out on me, and they was sitting there watching me be arrested. But anyway, I'm on the way to jail, and they're like, there's a reason that fugitive task force and DTF was there. You want to give us any information about where you got all them pills? They was high fiving each other and shit because they found the pills like it was some big bust. Anybody who messes with drugs know 40 fucking downers ain't shit, really. But they was like, you want to talk to DTF? Hell no, I don't want to talk to DTF. I already know I'm going to prison. What the fuck I want to talk to them for? Well, they take me to jail, book me in, and that's the end of that. So that's from the time I woke up until the time I got arrested and booked in. Then I went to jail and passed out on my downers, and that was the end of it. With that being said, though, that's all I got for this one. I'm going to answer the next question. Well, I'll go ahead and answer it right now, actually. What was going through your head the first 24 hours in jail? All kinds of shit. I was thinking all kinds of shit. I'm thinking, man, I'm about to get 20 years. Because the judge had already gave me like 3 chances. There was a time I turned myself in after I ran for like a year or two, and the judge gave me a chance, told me, you better not make me regret this. And I ran 3 days later. So I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, yeah, he's going to throw the book at me. He's going to give me that full 20-year sentence. I was also thinking, what's my people doing? What are they thinking? Because I had already did some crazy shit before that, which luckily my family didn't go through and do no charges on it because the grimy cops was trying to get them to claim a TV that I never took and I never touched nothing. And they was telling him, if you just tell us you had this TV missing, then we can close all these cases. And they was trying to close like 17 burglaries on my ass. And I didn't have nothing to do with what they was talking about. They was just trying to get one of my family members to tell them, yeah, that's our TV. So that if they told them that was their TV, they could connect that TV to a bunch more burglaries, and they was gonna pin them on me. Well, once they found out the cop was saying that shit and trying to do that, that's when they was like, nah, leave us alone, don't bother us. We ain't do. I don't want to talk to you no more. But the detectives was going to their work, putting notes on their car. When I was in jail, she told me I was on the phone through the visiting booth. I told her, I said, you tell them to leave you the fuck alone. Tell them you don't want to talk to them no more. That's some bullshit. These motherfuckers are trying to be grimy as hell. But yeah, that just goes to show how the system works. And then I got a story about how a judge did me a favor, and then later on I had to do him a favor for the mayor. But that's for when I get more subscribers. But going through my first 24 hours in jail, I was thinking, yeah, he's gonna hit me with the big sentence. I mean, I've done forced his hand. Like, I didn't even know more options. I didn't give him no more options to do anything because he had already went through all them options with me by giving me drug court. Then he gave me mental court. Then he tried to give me house arrest, and I couldn't get that. Then he tried to give me work release, and that didn't work. I ran. So, I mean, I forced him to send me to jail for the prison sentence, and he did give me the max. He gave me 20 years plus like 4, and then another 20 plus another 4. So it was like 2 of the same things because it was on different days that I committed the crimes, but they was the exact same charges 2 separate times. So really, I had like a 48-year sentence, but he ran them concurrent, so I didn't have to do the first 20 and then after that 20 start the other 20. He ran them all together to where it really turned out to 28. But luckily, my lawyer approached the bench and got me the therapeutic community program, but my judge messed that up. He didn't check one box, so the DOC had me down as doing my full sentence, which is why I ended up going to a maximum security prison, why they had me down as doing my full 20 years. So it was all up to me once I was in there. I had to go through and do motion after motion, contact my attorney over and over, wrote letters to the judge over and over, wrote letters to the DOC, showed him my sentencing paper, all kinds of shit. It was a big hassle. I think a lot of people would have just gave up after the second, third time being rejected about it, but I kept going and going and going, and I'm glad I did because it got me out of there like 17 years earlier, 15 years earlier. If you could go back and relive one decision that changed your life, what would it be and why? It would be me not committing the burglary because I was worried about misdemeanors, and that burglary is what led up to me going to prison and made me live like shit for 5 years. It didn't make me. I chose to live like shit for 5 years because I didn't have nothing to look forward to but going to prison. So it would be not committing the burglary that I committed. That would be the one decision that I would go back because that started the downfall of it. Had a snowball effect, the chain reaction effect. But with that being said, that's all I got for this one. Hopefully, you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe. I need to reach more subscribers so I can go into some more detail about some stuff. I just don't want to. I want to make sure I got a bigger audience once I start going into some of the details because they're touchy subjects, and I'm a little iffy about if it might not lead to some trouble. Somebody hearing me talk about how I had to do a favor for somebody high up, like as high up in the town as you can get. So. But with that being said, guys, that's all I got for this one. Remember, hit that like, comment, share. Definitely hit that subscribe. Till the next one. See ya.